The Israeli military is continuing its offensive in southern Gaza, despite calls for the operation to be halted to prevent the loss of more civilian lives. Well, Algeria has said that it would draft a UN resolution calling for an end to the killing. The US has vetoed previous resolutions and says it still considers the Israeli campaign in Rafah to fall short of what it deems a major ground operation. But it said that the deaths on Tuesday of 21 more people in a displaced persons camp were heartbreaking. Israel has denied firing on the area. Well, let's cross over live to Jerusalem. Our correspondent there, Yolande Nell, joins us. So, Yolande, the White House saying the US continues not to believe that Israel has launched this, a full-scale invasion of Rafah in southern Gaza. Despite that, what does this mean for the people already displaced there? Where do they go?
Well, that remains a big question. We've continued to see people flee in the past day, of course, heading north along the coastline, also to Khan Yunis, a city that was previously really devastated by a full-scale Israeli ground offensive there that was seen as being a Hamas stronghold. Now, what we're hearing this morning is there have been further Israeli airstrikes in Rafah. We've been hearing as well in the past day or so that these have been in the west of the city. That's an area where Palestinians had not been told to evacuate from previously. Now, we've also had Israeli ground forces advancing into the center of Rafah and along the Gaza-Egypt border as well. That was important, that assessment that came from Washington last night, really saying that it still sees this as being a limited operation, not crossing what it has defined as its red lines, which would lead to US military aid, vital aid to Israel being stopped. They're saying that really they've not seen at this stage that Israel has smashed into Rafah. There's been hitting multiple points with lots of troops on the ground. But the US has said it is closely monitoring Sunday's deadly strike on that tent camp in the west at Tel Sultan, in which at least 45 Palestinians were killed. The Israeli military had said that it used precise bombs to go after 2 Hamas commanders in that area. The US saying that those results, that the fire that broke out, that was something that was tragic. We've been hearing from the Israeli military that its initial assessment is that there were secondary explosions at the size of the munitions it used. It says could not have been responsible, suggesting that perhaps weapons held by Palestinian armed groups in that area could have been to blame. There is this proposed UN Security Council resolution that is now circulating, we're told, put forward by Algeria following the closed-doors emergency session that took place yesterday. They have said they would like to see an end to the killing in Rafah. They're putting forward a proposal on that. But of course, we have had the US vetoing multiple resolutions at the UN Security Council calling for ceasefires in Gaza.
OK, well, Yolande, as always, thank you very much for just bringing us up to date of the situation on the ground there. Yolande Nell live from Jerusalem. Well, as Yolande was saying, that Israeli military is continuing that offensive in southern Gaza, as my colleague Lucy Williamson now reports.
Rafah was once Gaza's refuge, the safest place in a dangerous war. Today, the city's west and centre was emptying. Those still sheltering here, fleeing again amid airstrikes and artillery fire, taking whatever they need to survive, whatever they can't leave behind. There's been no evacuation order from Israel's army, and for many, no sense of where to go.
I'm just walking in the street. I don't know where to go. There is nowhere safe. Where should we go? This is not alive. This is not alive.
They were packing up too in the displacement camp at Tel Sultan to the west of the city, still scarred by fires triggered in an Israeli airstrike on Sunday. Dozens dead, survivors spent. There's more than one way to lose a life. Israel says its operation in Rafah is key to defeating Hamas. and that Sunday's strike on Hamas commanders in the camp was carried out with precise munitions that would not, by themselves, have caused so many deaths.
We're talking about munition with 17 kilos of explosive material. This is the smallest munition that our jets can use. Following this strike, a large fire ignited for reasons that are still being investigated. Our munition alone could not have ignited a fire of this size.
While people fled today, Gaza's health ministry said more than 20 were killed in fresh airstrikes to the west, over half of them women. As far beyond these borders, 3 European nations officially recognize a Palestinian state. And Gaza's last urban centre begins to fall under Israeli control. Lucy Williamson, BBC News, Jerusalem.
And we have a special section on our website dedicated to the Israel-Gaza war for more detail and analysis and background as well.